Name is Sheena Graham. I've been a teacher for 39 years. I taught music, which was mainly for me choir and performing arts. Performing arts is when you're acting and singing, dancing, sometimes mime, which is when you act without speaking. Choir, I've had a all boys choir and all girls choir, a mixed choir. Then we did one that was parents, teachers, and students. And I also teach choir in my church as well.
Hi ma'am, I am Sai Surya. I am a 7th grader. I would like to ask a question. Can I ask you, ma'am?
Yes, you may.
What qualities you think are needed to become an inspirational teacher?
I think in order to be an inspirational teacher, you've got to be passionate. You've got to really love what it is that you're going to teach. I think you have to have a lot of knowledge about it. So you need to study and prepare yourself for that field. And then I think you have to be willing to always learn more. So be a student for the rest of your life. Those are the qualities I think are important for a passionate and inspirational teacher.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
This is Husniya, a 6th grader. I would like to ask you one question, ma'am.
Yes, I would enjoy that.
Why is it important to teach music?
I think that it's important to teach music because music impacts so many areas in our life. So, for example, music has benefits for our health as well as for our knowledge. It helps us to boost our confidence. Music can actually change your mood. It can improve your focus, your ability to concentrate on things. It can relax you. And it's a great way to express our emotions without doing things that are harmful.
Yes.
Thank you very much, madam.
You're welcome.
Sindhuja, it's your turn.
Yes, sir. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
This is Sindhuja, a 6th grader. I would like to ask a question, ma'am.
Yes, you may.
Who inspired you to become a music teacher?
There are a couple of people that inspired me. My Aunt Dorothy was a teacher in a place called Florida for many years. And I liked seeing the impact that she had on her students and the way she was able to help them dream about what their lives could be. So she was one person that influenced my decision to be a teacher. She also paid for my music lessons. My family did not have money to pay for them, and my aunt would actually send the money each week so that I could take my lessons. So she inspired me on many levels. And the other person was my 5th grade teacher. She saw something in me that I did not see in myself. And she would just encourage me to grow and to follow my dreams and do what I was passionate about. So I would say those two people, my Aunt Dorothy and my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. McGrath.
Wow. So,
Thank you.
Tedipia, it's your turn. Tedipia, it's your turn.
Yes, sir. Hi, ma'am.
Hello.
My name is Tedipya. I am studying 7th grade. My hobbies are reading books, playing games, and watching TV. My life ambition is to become a software engineer. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Yes, you may.
What kind of technology did you use to teach music?
In my classroom, we had computers. So they were Mac or Apple computers. And then I had pianos that could connect to the computers. So I would have the students learn to play on the piano, and then using the computer, they could actually record what they were playing by attaching a cable to the two. So that was really all the technology I had.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
This is Sindhu, a 6th grader. I would like to ask a question, ma'am.
Yes.
What are the career opportunities for those who learn music in your country?
Okay, there are many, many, many opportunities. One is to do as I did, which is to be a music educator and help other people learn music. But then there are also people that are musicians that they make a living by playing for others. So you can go out into the community and people will pay you to perform at their events. You can also work within the religious community. So you can be a musician that's part of that, and you would play for services. There are people that actually write the history of music. So if you're someone who likes music and you like to write, you can become what's called a music historian. And then there are people that use music in the medical field. For example, I fractured a finger on my hand and I like to play guitar. Well, after I had surgery on my hand, it was difficult to play. Well, a music therapist showed me how to have the strings adjusted on my guitar, which made it possible for my hand, even though it's not as strong, to still play the instrument. So music is even used in the medical field. There are tons of opportunities for those who study music.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
This is Subramanian Srinivas, a 7th grade student. I would like to ask a question, ma'am. Can I ask, ma'am?
Yes, you may.
What kind of music do the students of USA like?
All different kinds. There's something called pop music, which is what is popular at the time. There's something called hip hop. And what I will do is I'll send you links to some of these styles of music. So if you ever want to preview them and then have your students listen, I'll send that to you. There's country music, there's rock, there's something called alternative music. There are so many different styles. And what I'll do is I'll send a link to your teacher and you'll be able to hear what they sound like.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am. This is Durga Sai, a 6th grader. I would like to ask you one question, ma'am.
Sure.
What are the advantages of introducing electives in secondary schools?
I think it's important to have electives in the secondary schools because I think that's when you're deciding what it is you want to do for the rest of your lives. And sometimes what happens is we don't know yet. So by having electives, you're able to introduce different skills and different types of subject matter that may then help a young person to figure out what it is they want to do. So, for example, things like music, they affect your language, your reasoning skills, your math skills, how you view success. They increase your imagination, your coordination. So there's all kinds of benefits to having things like electives or music in the secondary schools.
Nagalakshmi, a 9th grader. My hobbies are reading books and playing games. Can I ask one question, ma'am?
Yes, you may.
What kind of music do you personally like?
Oh my goodness. I like all styles of music, but what I listen to depends on my mood. So if I'm really, really happy, then I want to hear music that makes me feel like dancing. If I'm really, really sad, I want to hear music that encourages my heart or my spirit. So it might be folk music, which folk music tells a story. And it usually has some kind of moral or learning in it. Versus if I'm cleaning house, I want music that just like pumps me up a little bit. So I listen to all styles from pop music to old music to you name it.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I am fine, ma'am. My name is Saiti, a 6th grader. I would like to ask a question, ma'am.
Sure.
Why is music an important part of a curriculum?
I think that music is an important part of the curriculum
Yes,
because
ma'am.
it helps to give you a well-rounded education. So for example, music uses both sides of the brain, which helps you sometimes to learn other subjects better or easier because you're using both sides of the brain. I think that music is a tool that's great for communicating. Sometimes when we have issues, it's hard to talk to people about them. People tend to get angry, but when it's done through music, sometimes you sit back and you listen, and then you can understand what the other person is trying to say. I think it helps with the social and emotional well-being of students. And I also think it's a way to provide equity and access for all students.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
I am a Satvik, a 6th grader. I would like to ask a question, ma'am.
Sure.
What has been your memorable incident as a teacher?
Oh my goodness. My most memorable incident as a teacher would be going to the White House, which in our country, that's where the president and his wife reside. And we went to the White House in order for students to sing a song that I wrote during a tea. So it was absolutely amazing. I did not meet the president, but I did meet the first lady, which is his wife. And it was with my students. So that was amazing.
So Sheena, may I request you to play for us any musical instrument that you have at this moment? Is it possible?
Oh, if you can give me just a minute.
Okay.
Doesn't matter where you were born, doesn't matter how you've lived, doesn't matter what you've worn or what you didn't have to give. Doesn't matter if you're different or if people think you're smart, 'cause it's not how you start that defines you. Doesn't matter what others think, doesn't matter what they say, doesn't matter how many tries it takes before you find your way. Doesn't matter if you're different or if people think you're smart, 'cause it's not how you start that defines you. It's how you dream, the visions that you see, the goals that you decide on as you travel towards your dreams. 'Cause sometimes what you'll see is in your eyes alone. It's a gift that you've been given, a path that is your own, and that is what defines you.
Wow. So what a lovely feast to our ears, in fact. So marvelous job. We know that your song. So Sheena, I have a question for you. Most of these kids who are right now in this session wants to become teachers. So you have been an experienced teacher and working for more than 30 years, I think. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know that what should be the model teacher and what are the qualities a model teacher should have, because these kids are going to be future teachers and they are going to serve the society and they are going to mold the future architects of India and probably the future architects of the world. So would
Right.
you like to give them some suggestions, you may call it, or maybe some guidance to these kids?
I think Becoming a teacher to me is the most important job in the world. I believe that because we have the opportunity to work with so many others, and in my case, it was always young people, and to teach them that they have so much power in their voice and that they can be anything in the world. So I believe that's why it's so important to have educators. Becoming an educator means that your mind has to be open to learning always. I am considered to be an old woman now, and I am still learning every day. The educator in you never goes away. So I think being open to learning, being open to listening, one of the important skills you can give to your future students is being willing to listen to what it is they have to say. And it's great to know that even when we don't agree, that listening helps us to see other people's thoughts and their processes. And then that's how we can help them to learn. So for example, if you have a student and you're teaching them something one way and they're not getting it, and you're thinking to yourself, what am I doing wrong? Sometimes it's not so much what you're doing wrong, but once you listen to them, you realize where it is or what specifically it is that they're not getting. And then you can change what you're doing. So that ability to be flexible to help make it easier for them. So wanting to have knowledge, wanting to learn rather for the rest of your lives, because you'll always be growing and learning, that helps your students to grow and learn. And then what you choose to teach is very important, because whatever you're most passionate about, if it's writing, if it's, in my case, it was music. Music gave me the ability to write as well as to work directly with students, as well as to have the instruments and sometimes work in other languages. So whatever you are most passionate about, that is the area that will make you the best teacher. You're
So
welcome.
Indian cuisine is unique of its own. And have you ever tasted the Indian cuisine? And do you have any Indian neighbors in your neighborhood?
I have not tasted Indian cuisine. I haven't yet. And I do have Indian neighbors in my community. Now, I don't know them personally yet because, believe it or not, they've recently moved in. But I walk my dogs up and down. It's about a mile from the end of the street where I live to the other end and back is a little over a mile. And so I have two families that I've seen that have moved in recently that are from India.
Mhm. Okay, and Sheena, I have one more question actually. What qualities
Sure.
you have found you normally observe in Indians, especially Indians are known to be working hard people. In fact, they are all over the world. I think, especially in all fields, all sectors, they are the CEOs, and they are in almost all sectors. So, what
Mhm.
qualities you are thinking are common in Indians, especially?
I would say, from what I've seen, very hardworking is a great description. I noticed one of the families that moved in, the reason why I know they're Indian is because what happens is I've gone up and down the street with the dogs every day. And when I say the way that property used to look and the way it looks now, two different worlds. The improvements that they've made to the house itself, to the yard, there's like an expectation. You can tell that it's going to be kept a certain way. So from what I've seen, and with ones, I have a few teachers at work actually that I worked with that were from India. And they were also very hardworking, would come in as a teacher within a certain period of time, had their degree to go on and be an administrator, which requires you to do more learning. And then even when they became an administrator, they were working towards their doctorates, which is a higher level of learning. So I don't know anyone I've met from India that wasn't extremely hardworking, well-disciplined, in that you didn't have to say, do something twice. It was done the first time, and it was going to be done the right way to the best of their ability. So that's been my interaction with people
Yeah.
from India.
Thank you so much for having a great insights on Indian behaviorism. And now let us come to the Connecticut, the state where you are actually residing at present. So could you please share some of the tourist attractions of your region?
So in Connecticut, one of the things I like about Connecticut is it's very different depending on where you are. We're a small state, but for example, I can live somewhere where it's all flat land, but then there's somewhere where there's mountains, there's water. So it's very different types of living. You can have a farm. Even though I live in what's called a town, on one side of me, the man feeds everything from raccoons to cats to deer to fox, coyotes. There's just all these different animals, but yet I'm right in the midst of a bunch of houses. And I don't know if I went to the window. If I carry the camera, would you be able to, let's see. We'll try this and see if you can see. You know what? I'm going to actually walk out my front door so you can actually see. And if you hear little feet behind me, it's two dogs that are going to start to bark probably because they want to go too. So I'm going to turn the camera this way.
Oh,
And are you able to see?
yes,
What
we
side?
can. Yeah.
Okay. So I live, there's a bunch of houses
Mm-hmm.
that are on the street.
Mm.
And now you're going to see the barking dogs. There's one is in. So, okay, baby, I didn't go anywhere. I didn't leave. That's what they're worried about, that I'm gonna go, come on, come.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go somewhere without them.
Yeah.
But so even though there are lots of houses right now, the bags, you probably saw brown bags outside.
Yeah.
Those are leaves.
Mm-hmm.
We have to pick up the leaves this time of year,
Mm-hmm.
because when the weather gets even more cold, if people are to slip or slide on the leaves, you actually are responsible for them getting hurt when they walk up and down the street. So we have to pick up all the leaves and bag them so that people don't get hurt. So Connecticut, there's all kinds of museums in Connecticut. So you can go to see art, learn a lot about history. There are colleges, lots of different colleges. Yale University, you may have heard of, is in Connecticut. We have, let's see, we're known for, unfortunately, things that are not always good for us, like pizza, which is something that's kind of fatty, but Connecticut is known for that. We have what they call the 4 seasons. So not every state has it, but in Connecticut, right now, this is fall. So this is where the leaves come down. We're heading into winter, which is when we get lots of snow. Then we go from winter, we'll have spring. And that's when the leaves start to grow back onto the trees.
Yeah.
And then we have summer. So we have 4 different seasons here in Connecticut. But where my children live now, which is in California, the temperature is always warm compared to here.
So during my 45 days stay in Arkansas, I experienced 4 seasons, in fact.
Oh,
The summer, rainy season, and even snowfall. So which I had never seen in
yes.
my country. So
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That must have been tough.
yes, definitely. But I enjoyed this. And we have 6 minutes time is left. Could you please give a final message to my students?
Is to encourage you all. The fact that you want to be educators, it really makes my heart happy. because we need young people that are willing to help others. And that's what being an educator is all about. You get to help people just to see the world, and they can see it through your eyes, and then that helps them believe in their ability to change the world. So I am so excited to have met you all. I will send information, as I said, to your teacher, and I just want to encourage you to stay in school and do your very, very best. I'm proud of you all.